So as a beginner to watercolour, I think it's always good to try some new techniques, and so in this video I will be trying out a couple of different techniques that I have saved to my Give It a Go playlist, and they've been on there for quite some time, and maybe a lot of people are just like me in that they put things on their Give It a Go playlist and never get around to giving it a go. But today I am. So today I am going to be testing the watercolour with cling film, and I'm also going to be testing watercolour with salt. Right, so the first of my little experiments, because I'm still new to watercolour and I'd like to see what is possible, I am going to try out the cling wrap method of creating a background. Now I usually would use, I say usually, I've only been doing watercolour about 6 weeks, 2 months. I'd usually use masking tape, but I'm going to try washi tape on this one because I did watch somebody using washi tape and I think it peels off the paper a lot easier. So we'll test that as well. So I'm just using 2 small postcard size sheets of watercolour paper. This has come from Hobbycraft, 300 GSM, acid free A6. Can't find the end. Oh dear. This isn't very good, is it? That's probably why it's been sat in my craft box for so long. It's not good, but we shall see how we fare. Goodness knows where this came from. Ugh, it's pretty awful. I might go back to using masking tape after this. In fairness, I really don't know how old this washi tape is. I've got no idea where it came from, but I can promise you this much. If I did know where it came from, I absolutely wouldn't be buying it again. Ugh. Anyway, so I'm just using the back of the sketchbook to tape these down because I thought that would be easier. Right, so I do have my watercolour set. I have a brush and I have some water. I have a bit of kitchen towel and 2 pieces of cling film, or cling wrap as some people call it. And as I understand it, you just need to put some colours on the paper and then lay the cling wrap over, squidge it around and leave it overnight. So this is a 2-day experiment, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. First one, I'm going to do this gorgeous red. Orange. I'm making this up as I go along. Not sure sure if that's the best thing to do, but so let's go for a little bit of blue. I've never done this before. I'm going to find it quite interesting to see what happens. I don't know if I need to put more water in. I know my palette is leaking all over the place again, which is a real pain. And then I think we just have to put the cling wrap over the top and squidge it around. And then we have to leave it to dry. Now, I think I'm going to use more pigment on the second one, just as a test. I think I'll colour the whole page, and I think I'll do this one in blues. So I've covered much more of the paper on this one. And I'm going to kind of lay the cling film down, press it down, and then wiggle it around a bit. See what happens. Oh, perhaps I should have used more cling film. Okay, well, now I don't know how this is going to turn out, but yeah, we shall see tomorrow just how this turns out. So I don't have a particular plan. I thought what I would do is I would give this a go and experiment with some coloured backgrounds, which I may well be able to use in the future. So I figured I'd probably do one background in green and one background in blue, add some salt and see what it looks like when it's finished. So I'm still using my little A6 watercolour pad. I don't have very many pages left in it, there's only 4 left now, but yeah, I'm probably going to scale up and get an A5 or an A4 for future projects, but for now we're doing this. So I think I'm going to go for landscape on this one, which I'm going to do in blue. Some sort of a graded So I'm also going to try regular table salt and Malden sea salt as well. So let's see what happens. Well, I can see the salt is creating little darker patches. Sprinkle a bit more on. I think the paper has dried out quite quickly and the effect is perhaps not as strong as it might be. But it's still quite good. I think what I'll do on this one is I'll make it a lot wetter. In fact, I think I'll just brush some water on to start. Try and keep that page a lot wetter, and maybe the salt will have a better effect. I think I'll take some of the sea salt. Bring this in for you to see. So where the sea salt has landed, it's sucked up all the pigment and made darker spots. So I have to leave this to dry, and then I will brush off all the salt outside. Definitely needs to have quite damp paper when you put the salt on. Although the blue has focus on these, and the lighting's not particularly great today, but the blue one, yeah, the paper wasn't damp enough really to make an effect, but we'll see what it looks like when it dries and when we take the salt off. Oh, it's a new day and everything is dry. I'm super excited to see how these have worked out. And get a bit more light in here though. It's better. Right. So yeah, these are dry. I need to brush the salt off this one. I'll do that outside because I imagine that's going to be a bit messy. So let's have a look at this one first, shall we? I think I'm going to turn that this way and just zoom in a little bit. Yeah, hopefully that will be better. Here we go. Well, definitely works better with the one that I used the more paint on. And I believe this one was a lot damper as well. So yeah, I do quite like that. It's kind of fractured and a little bit like broken glass. This one's definitely worked out better than this one. Perhaps it's the colours that I used. All I've got to do now is figure out what to use them with, what to do with them. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. I'll take the washi tape off. It's easier to peel off here than it was peeling off the roll. I think I will use washi tape in the future. I think masking tape is a bit cheaper, but it was a lot easier to take off. There's still a bit of bleed through. Might be because I didn't press it down hard enough, but I really like that. I think I need to turn that into some sort of a seascape. Maybe this is the sky here and this is a mountain range, just seeing there. There's even a bit of shadow. This could be the sea. I really like that one. I think I want to do one like that in green. I think that would be nice as well. This one, not loving it, but might be able to use it for something. I'm not going to let it go to waste. I don't let anything go to waste. So even if I end up using it in some sort of a journal at some point, because at some point I'm going to try doing an art journal, and that's the sort of paper that would probably work out quite nicely. But yeah, I can definitely recommend this, and I think I might just do some more. Shall I do them today? Oh, it's tempting. It's tempting. Anyway, let's go and just brush the salt off these, and I will come back. I should just show you them first. So a close up on this one. See if I can focus. As far as I'm concerned, it looks like the salt is just sat on top. Doesn't seem to have done much, but that one dried out very quickly. And this one, I can see it's had some sort of an effect, but I don't know what it's going to properly look like until I take the salt off. So this one I used just regular table salt, and this one I used Malden sea salt. I don't know if that makes a difference. What I really need to do again is to test out a few more, isn't it? Anyway, let's go brush the salt off. So I have brushed all the salt off, and on the one with the table salt, let me see if I can just zoom it in with a bit more light for you. I don't know if you can really see here, but there's some kind of slightly raised pieces. I'll probably be better off taking a photograph. The light is so bad here. I can't see that it's really made any effect on this one. And like I said, that could be because it dried out too quickly. The one with the sea salt, I have tried to brush all the salt off, and I've got some raised areas where I believe there is no salt. It's just the pigment has collected in little pools and dried slightly raised on the page. It's quite an interesting effect, and I'm not sure how it will be to paint over it, so I suppose we should give that a little try. I think what I do, because I can see a bit of a hilly scene here, but this would be sky. So I think what I'm going to do is just get my paint palette and just see what it's like painting over this. So yeah, what I've realised is it's watercolour, it's water soluble, of course it is. So as you paint over the little lumpy bits, you can kind of dissolve them down, but I quite like the effect of these on the landscape, that I've just kind of used some colour to kind of define the edges of a little bit more. I'd like to work on the sky, but I'm going to let that dry a little bit, the experiments that I did there. Quite like this. Not sure how I'd use this in a full-on painting, whereas I've got the feeling that I'll use this as backdrops for quite a few things. That would be quite nice. So yeah, that's the experiments with cling film and salt. I'm not entirely sure that I did either of them correctly. However, this I will definitely use for a painting. And this one I will actually, I'm not going to take it off. I'm going to leave this one on here because I want to come back to it and work on the sky, because I quite like that one. But you know, it's watercolour. Nothing's quick with watercolour. You have to keep leaving it. So thank you for joining me, and I hope this has inspired you to give it a go yourself, or maybe you've tried it before and I've done it a bit differently, or maybe I've done it completely wrong. Anyway, if you've got any questions or comments, do leave them below and I will get back to you as soon as I see them. And do give me a thumbs up if you've made it this far. Your support is genuinely very much appreciated.